Good evening, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of IT Talks. Today, we have with us a multifaceted personality. She's a digital marketing professional and has over 8 years of experience. She's a Buddhism practitioner and currently pursuing her MBA from Ivey Business School at Western University, Canada. Please put your hands together for Tanvi Pal.
For a lovely introduction. So, really happy to be here and more than happy to add value with our today's discussion. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Sure. So, guys, just 2 cents about. So, I've been after Tanvi's life for days now, and she's altogether in a different time zone based out in Canada. And she has finally agreed for this talk, and I'm so happy to host it today. Great. Let's get started. So, why don't you start off with a introduction, for our viewers?
Sure, definitely. I would say that, coming from India, which is a land of cultural diversity, I was always very passionate about dancing. And that got me intrigued to understand that how businesses use arts and entertainment to, in their marketing strategies to impact customer psyche. And that further got me intrigued that, how about let's just do an undergrad in the field of Bachelor's of Business Studies. So I pursued my BBS, which is the popular BBA course from Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies. Now it's known as BMS. Then thereon, I did my master's in the field of advertising and public relations from Indian Institute of Mass Comm, and I worked for more than 8 years. Eventually, what so happened that I knew that I've been a professionally trained dancer, so I actively use those creative capabilities with my core marketing skills in my work arena. So my core marketing skills till now, I would say, have been in the field of data analytics, marketing research, and brand strategy. So I would actively, mix and merge both my creative thought process with my core skills, and I would actively, ideate integrated communications campaigns for brands, both standalone brands and a lot of other national and international brands as well. And I would say during my whole 8 years of career journey, I worked with startups, and then I worked with a lot of marketing agencies too, which again, opened my whole horizons
Mm.
when it came in terms of the work opportunities. So I would say my last 8, 9 years in the field of work have been quite rewarding and enriching. But I felt that there are certain knowledge gaps that I had to fulfill because, I really wanted to accelerate in my career. And I did my research, and then I came to this point that yes, I feel like going ahead with an MBA. So let's start doing my research. Like, okay, where do I want to do an MBA? The popular
Absolutely.
options were whether to look into the European markets or should I look into the Western markets. I was always very clear that I want to work in the Western markets. Then came the question, US B schools or the Canadian B schools?
Right.
I kind of knew that also that, right after my B school experience, I don't want to be told that, okay, your time limit is over. How about you go back and you start working in India? And since I knew that, so I was like, let's just go ahead with a Canadian B school. I did my research, like which are the top B schools in Canada. I made my list. And to be honest, when I looked into Ivy's curriculum and I looked into these things, the other factors as well, like for me, the fact that a B school is like, it has to be like very comprehensive. It has to be
Hmm.
1 year program. So I was very sure that, okay, it has to be a 1 year program, nothing which is too extended, something that, kind of fits in terms of my fee structure also, and really fulfills my kind of aspirations as well. So Ivy was like, checking in all the criterias. So I knew that this is the place where I want to be. And I started working towards it. So that was pretty much like, my background and why MBA and how I
Yeah, I
zeroed
was
down
coming to that.
Ivy. Yeah.
No, no. So thank you so much for describing, so because I was intrigued, when I looked at your profile, you've already done your master's. And again, for some of so people like folks like me, going back to school kind of being a scary subject. But, for you, so it's just another journey. So that's so good to hear. Great. So can you describe, so I have known you personally as well. So you have been an MBA aspirant, right? So can you describe for our folks, that how exactly your MBA journey started and finally how you cracked GMAT, to get into this B-School?
So to be honest, MBA journey does not start like, 1 month in advance or maybe a year in advance. That
Right.
okay, today I want to go for an MBA. So next year, that's the school where I'll start my journey. It's a proper process. It takes time.
Mhm.
At times it takes 3 years, at times it takes 4 years. Not in the space of GMAT, but like which school do you want to finally
Mm.
go into? It's a big thing. It's a big investment. It's going to be there on your resume for your whole time, right? Nothing less than being in a marriage, right? Uh pretty
Right.
much, pretty much.
Right.
And you're investing also big amount of money. So yeah. So my MBA journey began somewhere around the year 2019, when I started, looking into various colleges that I would be looking forward to. Uh, at that point of time, like in 2019, I knew that I want to go for an MBA, but I
Mhm.
wasn't sure which school.
Mm.
I knew that, oh no, I want to go to the top 10 B schools of the world. And I made my list. Oh, it's gonna be Kellogg, it's gonna be Columbia, or maybe it's going to be Wharton or something like that.
Right.
And then eventually I did my research that, is it just about the MBA, or after an MBA, I would want to work there for some time, or do I want to come back? Am I okay with that?
Right.
And for me, MBA wasn't just about going to a foreign land, studying with the internationals. For me, it was the whole experience, and after that MBA experience as well, because it's a proper investment that I'm making, right? Until the time, and work plays a very important role. It's like, for example, if I teach you a new computer language and I just tell you that, you just study it on your own and now you're an
Mm.
expert, and then I hand you over the laptop, like now you go figure it out. It's going to be challenging for you, right?
Definitely.
Whereas if you have someone telling you all of that, that okay, there's the computer, that's how you're going to do it, that's how you're going to work, that's when you'll get the real experience. So for me, it was very important that after an MBA experience, am I being able to work in the Western markets or not?
Right.
That was like a major concern. And that's from where I zeroed down that, okay, this is the country where I would want to. That happened in the year 2020, finally, when the pandemic hit. And I started preparing for my GMAT as well. Uh, Once I had kind of zeroed down, okay, which school do I want to, or maybe, which region do I want to get into, I knew that there is a certain GMAT score range that is kind of
Mm.
required over there. And trust me, a lot of people will sell you this thing that if you have a certain GMAT score range, only then you would be able to make it to a
Mm.
particular school. But take my advice, don't get sold into those kind of ideas and notions. Um, like it was a challenging time for me. So I think overall my whole overall my whole MBA journey took like close to 2 or 3 years, because I finally ended up taking the flight this year and landing in here. So yeah, I
Right.
would say 2019, 20, 20 months. So it took me almost 3 years. So yeah.
Yeah. And you touched upon a very good point, right? So most of us, even, so when I used to be an MBA aspirant, I used to know that, crack 700, that golden score, and you'll get into any B schools. And from what I can hear from you and from others as well. So it's barely a kind of a prerequisite, right? So how much weightage, I think, does the B school give on applications, right? I think that also plays a huge part in getting your MBA application selected, right?
That's a very valid point, to be honest, because once you will speak with any of the admissions director, trust me, none of the schools would say that we give importance to only GMAT score.
Mm.
Because trust me, all the schools end up reviewing your application holistically.
Mm.
That is a very, very major point. GMAT score plays certain important role, I would say, but
Mm.
it's not more important than who you are as a person, right? You definitely bring something to the table. So when you start preparing for GMAT, there is a quant section and there is, verbal ability section. right? The whole idea of getting a good GMAT score is to basically understand that once you are there in the whole MBA setting, would you be able to kind of, deal with the quant that
Hmm.
they'd be throwing at you, right? So that you're not really kind of lost. Do you know, like when it comes to doing your reading comprehension sections, like in all the B schools, you will end up having case studies. So once you skim through those cases, would you be able to like, quickly get on to the answers and logically answer them? Again, the verbal ability section is like really important when it comes to the whole GMAT score, because you're going to any place, like by the end of the day, when you will come out as an MBA graduate,
Hmm.
at least you should be able to kind of speak and communicate in English, right? That's the basic
Absolutely.
requirement. So basically the whole agenda around GMAT is just that you should be able to kind of work around on these basics as an MBA graduate. That's it. Nothing more than that. That okay. And yes, there's one more thing over here. There's no guarantee that once you get like a 760 or a 750, you would be getting into any B school of your choice. If your
Hmm.
profile is not standing out, uh, they will not take you, even if you end up getting like a 740s and 50 GMAT score. I've seen those examples live, and mess ups happen like that. So there's like a lot when it comes to the whole application process. So GMAT is the first step. You give your GMAT. After the GMAT score, you end up applying to the colleges. For
Right.
example, if your GMAT score does not fall in the range that the school is known for, reach out to the admissions director, tell them about your
Hmm.
case, that okay, you have this much amount of experience, that's the kind of difference that you add, how your profile is unique. It's very important to find out what is the spike factor in your profile.
Hmm.
I knew when it came to my thing, my spike factor was definitely my artistic background, and the
Hmm.
fact that I had worked for almost 8 years in a very marketing heavy domain. So I really brought all those things to the table, and they liked me. They liked me pretty much. My score was not even in the known, it was in that range, but it was not towards the higher end. It wasn't
Hmm.
700 plus score. It was a below 700 score. And despite that, I ended up getting a scholarship as well. And
Wow.
honestly, I wasn't expecting that I'd be getting a scholarship, but definitely the admissions director really liked me overall, like my whole profile and everything. And they knew that okay, this person is going to add value to the cohort, and that's how it just kind of worked around. So even if you do not end up getting the kind of score that you're hoping for, reach out to the admissions director. Trust me, they are going to really support your case if they like your profile. So that's the key, say that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanvi, for actually highlighting, so not only, I think there were a lot of takeaway that we can have from the learnings that you just shared for all our MBA aspirants. Great. Now to over to the
Glad.
next question,
Yeah,
can you also highlight some of the key factors that, if you're that every aspirant who is going for a global MBA program should keep in
right.
mind while actually applying to B schools? Yeah.
Okay. So I would actually categorize this
Mm-hmm.
into uh three main areas. Like first being the financial bit, second being the non-financial bit. Actually, I would categorize it into two areas, financial and non-financial. Let's just keep it as simple as possible.
Right.
Talking about the financial bit, once you zero down which place do you want to get into, are you okay with the kind of finances that you would be investing, right? Because an international MBA is not an easy task. It
Right.
is a challenging task in terms of finances. It does bring in a lot of financial burden as well. Are you okay with the kind of loans that you'd be taking into? How are you going to finance the whole thing? Are you getting certain scholarships or not? And do you even need that financial help? So just look into all of these criteria, just get a hang of how you want to go ahead with it with respect to the finances. Uh, on the basis of that, then take your next decisions. Because like while I was doing I was just kind of calculating the finances for Canadian B schools versus the US B schools.
Mm.
Uh, I knew the difference with respect to the fee also, specifically the kind of schools that I was aiming for in the US. The fee was 1 CR plus.
Wow.
And I was like, am I willing to invest that much right now? I'm like, maybe
Hmm.
not. That wasn't my thing. So I wasn't too keen on that. That's why. So, anyways, there were two major factors over here. So why I really ended up striking out USB schools. Not talking about the non-financial factors. For me, the very first thing was uh, what is the brand positioning, like how well is it positioned in the market,
Right.
what is the image of this particular school, is it like what's the ranking, is it like one of the top 10 schools, top 5 schools in that particular region, what is the school kind of known for, like for Ivy is known for consulting, but it is also known for a lot of marketing brands as well. The alumni network is
Hmm.
great. I would say it's huge, it's massive, and it's amazing. Like till now, whatever interactions I've had with the alums, I mean, they literally help you out like anything. Like till now, right now the recruitment process is also kind of on. So a couple of companies have been coming in, and I randomly reached out to a couple of alums, and they were so amazing. They were so helpful. I mean, amidst their busy schedule, they were more than happy to have chats with me. They were more than happy to have mock interviews, mock preps. I mean, I really doubt
Wow.
if you get that kind of a good connect or network anywhere else. Um, Besides that, what I was also kind of reviewing, like obviously the work criteria when it came to that particular region. And yes, overall, like till now, my experience with respect to the Canadian boundary has been that people are really nice. They're really friendly. So it's quite nice overall for me. So these are the non-financial factors. That one should definitely take into consideration, because you're going to a new land, you're going to a new place, and you do not want to be left all by yourself. On that note, I'll actually share an experience. I really canceled out
Hmm.
one of the Canadian B schools. I'm not going to name that school. It's one of the top ones, just on the basis because the admissions director was not even congenial, was not even friendly to talk to. It's a 2 year
Hmm.
program, that particular school. And I knew it for a fact that if 2 years I have to be in a place, I'm paying them money, if they're not even nice to me, if they're not even there around for me, being an international, I can literally feel,
Hmm.
so lonely and completely all by myself. And I don't want to be in that kind of a sticky situation. So yeah, definitely see how your interactions go with the admissions director, the programs director over there. And before getting into any school, actively have coffee chats with people, because it's not just you kind of looking into the school. Sorry, my bad, it's not just that they are reviewing your profile, you are also equally reviewing the school, right? You
Absolutely.
are paying the money, so it's very important that you review the place well. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanvi. So giving us a very, I would say, a personal as well as a very broad explanation of all the points. And I think our viewers will have a lot of takeaway, on, what are the key factors that everyone should be reviewing. So maybe last question for the day, that,
Right.
what are some of the tips, you like to hand out to all the aspirants out there who are seeking a global MBA?
Okay. Some of the tips that I would actually suggest. The very first thing, even if your GMAT score is not as per the range, please reach out to the admissions director. Do not self-select yourself out from the process,
Right.
thinking that you do not have a 700 plus score, so you'll not get into it. uh, don't do yourself a favor, believe in your capabilities, believe in your work experience, and reach out to the admissions director and let them see that how they can make the things work for you. That's the first thing. Second thing is, like, once you get like a good go ahead, you see a positive response coming from the admissions director, uh really work on your application. Now, how to work on your application: go to the website, see, like, what is the B school known for, what are the core values of that B school, and actively reach out to the alums, network with them, and understand how did they make it through, what are the
Mm,
things that they like, you know, and try understanding what are the courses that you would be really looking forward to once you get into the program, right? And who are like the really known professors out there from whom you can really take back a lot. These things really help. And third thing, in case if you already have some uh, good networks with the alums of those of that particular school, try reaching out to them, and maybe if you can get a referral, that's gonna be phenomenal. Trust me, you don't even know how that's just gonna push your case for sure. And yes, once you get the interview invite, um, trust me, in that 1 hour, it's just your confidence that's gonna work, right? And be
mm.
as genuine as possible. Obviously, be structured. Don't keep on saying everything of the world. Prepare well. Behavioral interview questions play a very important role. So do prepare for those. Um, and yes, that's pretty much about it. And I think from my experience, if I have to just say everything in a nutshell, I think uh, don't just cut out any possibility for yourself, like, you know, don't cancel out opportunities thinking that you would not be able to do that. I
Right.
did that quite a lot, and that's the reason why I delayed my process also. Whereas my consistent suggestion would be take a step back and reach out to the right set of people, you know, and try avoiding a lot of commercial set of organizations based out of India who are ready to work on your applications when it comes to B schools,
Yeah, I think,
because they
I
will.
was just
Yeah.
curious about that. I wanted to ask where, like, did you take help from any consultants that are out there, or does it
Uh,
help altogether?
so I did take help from
Hmm.
one of the known consulting services back in India, and it wasn't that great, to be
Hmm.
honest. Because they consistently told me how I would not make it to Ivy. And I was like, well,
Oh,
I think I'm paying you to say good things, not to tell me that I can't make it.
right.
And towards the end, it almost came to a point that they said that we would not be liable if this thing does not work around. I was like, okay, fine, let me make all the effort. So practically, when Ivy happened, it was literally like, you know, pure and core my effort that I had worked towards, that I had worked with.
Hmm.
And I definitely, like, I did my sort of hard work, I would say, when Ivy happened. Prior to that, yes, they had worked on a lot of applications. So from there, I got the idea that, okay, you know, if that's the question, how I have to kind of reframe. So, you know, like at times, this also tends to happen when you're applying. Like, you don't end up applying to just one school, you apply to a couple of schools. So when you get into the habit of applying to a couple of schools, the good thing that tends to happen is that you get the whole experience of how to answer certain questions,
Right.
so that by the time you reach the, you know, your desired school, you are actually answering things in a better manner. So that also kind of prepares you, so even your failures end up preparing you. So yeah.
That's so good to hear. And, thank you so much, Tanvi. I think it was great to have you and, share your experience. I think it's surely going to help a lot of folks out there who are looking for a global MBA program. And thank you so much for, taking out time.
Thank you so much, Praneeth, for inviting me for this, and more than happy to help. And in case if anybody feels like reaching out to me on LinkedIn, then please feel to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to guide them. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching our video. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such insightful sessions. We will be regularly uploading on our channel every Sunday, so stay tuned and like our other social media handles as well. The links of the same will be mentioned in the description box below. Bye bye.